Hi guys, welcome back to Forgetful Scholar, and this week we're gonna chat about two books. A contemporary paranormal romance and a contemporary small town romance. I know, two contemporary romances. Whew, okay, you know how hard I am on those. So, the first one we're gonna do. So far this series has been pretty cute. Despise the covers, and you guys know which one I'm talking about. So this is The Christmas Tree Farm, The Dream Harbor, Book 3 by Laurie Gilmore, and it's published 2024. It's 342 pages. It's contemporary small town romance. So in the end of book 2, we get a little sneak peek of Kira, who is the main character in this book. She is in the town meeting that she bought the old Christmas tree farm, and she's kind of bitchy. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, she comes off pretty horrible. Not like kick a puppy horrible. No, that's monsters. But like very unfriendly. Doesn't want to get to know anybody. You kind of wonder why she's there, right? And the main romantic lead, male romantic lead in this is Bennett, which is Jenny from the first Dream Harbor book's brother. So this is cute, you know, I mean, with all the Dream Harbor series, it's cute. They do have spice in them, so don't let the cover fool you. They are not cozy mystery. They are small town romance with open door romantic scenes. Okay, I would have to say this is 3 stars for me. Now, I thought reading the back of it would be forced proximity, you know, trapped in a snowstorm. I love that shit. But not really. So I was kind of disappointed with that. Bennett has 3 dogs, which were very cute. I like that. It's interesting because the main female is probably the one I like least so far, but the main male is the one I like the most. I know, it's kind of weird, right, how that happened. So Bennett is visiting his sister Jenny through the holidays. So he's taking a whole month off. He's usually in San Francisco. He writes code for various companies for their websites and things like that. Okay, so he's able to work remotely while he's taking the month off to visit his sister. And we do catch up on the other couples of Jenny and Logan and Noah and Hazel, which is cute because they're all friends, you know. Kira is super unlikable throughout like the first third of this book. Keep going, she gets better, and you kind of sort of understand why she's so, I don't need anybody help, I don't want anybody around me, go away. So a misanthrope, I guess, like hates people. She is a twin, and her twin sister is married and moved to Denmark, and she's spoiled. And the thing about her is that she realized she was spoiled and she doesn't want to be that person again, and she wants to be independent, but she overcorrected, right? So wants to be independent so much that like she doesn't let anybody in, doesn't open herself up to friendships. She overcorrected, you know what I mean? So Kira definitely is a character of extremes. Eventually she gets the rhythm that like you could be an independent business owner but still like have friends and not be a complete ass, you know, things like that. And in this book I think we meet Iris, which is the main character in the 4th book, I believe. Anyway, so Kira and Bennett meet when he was walking his dogs, and she loves animals, which check mark on her list, right? Loves animals, of course. And eventually she like puts the old farm together, she gets it up and running, and like it's successful, which is awesome. I loved that growth for her. So I think that stopped me from completely hating her, because I do enjoy her growth. It's just you have to get past her bitchy face. Which is like 60 pages, I think, 60, 70 pages. So once you kind of get past that, you see her growth in like, oh, I can be an independent, successful business woman without being a horrible person. Like there's a happy medium, you know, happy medium. Bennett is definitely a cinnamon roll, and I thought, because we get dual POVs of Kira and Bennett, and I found his journey the most satisfying, because he goes from someone who definitely is a people pleaser doormat to the past girls he's dated, to someone that can put those people pleasing compulsion aside and like take some space for himself. Has this very toxic relationship that's on and off again that really hurts him deeply, and the conversation with that woman I thought was very adult, because, you know, when you're reading it, you're like, oh, we hate her, but then when you have a conversation with her, excuse me, it's a very real conversation, because like the toxic ex-girlfriend didn't realize that's what was happening. She thought they were on the same page. So I liked that there was no villainess, you know what I mean? Excuse me, my throat is killing me. I spent Friday with one of my aunties, and we were just gabbing all day. So my throat is a little, it's a little yikes. Okay, so if I sound weird, well, what are you gonna do, you know? So I loved Bennett's character growth, because again, it felt very realistic. No one was like the villain. No ex-girlfriend was painted as like this horrible person, you know, and made him realize, oh, communication, it's important. Yeah, communication's very important, you know? And of course, the Dream Harbor people, the town folks, are so much fun. So like small town, eccentric, pushy. And part of it was when Kira first moved there, the town harbor people were so aggressively nice that it freaked her out. And I had to sit back like, you know, honestly, that would probably freak me out too, because just so aggressively nice and not giving her like a moment. I would be like, what do you want? What are you after? No, I see you. What are you after? Why are you being so nice? Are you a pod person? Aliens? What's happening? You know, so I got that. I do. It's just, she's really just not likable for the first third. So, and they do get trapped in because of a snowstorm, but it wasn't really trapped in. You know what I'm saying with that trope trap, the forced proximity trope, you know. But it's fine. I like their romance. It was cute. I like that they both were trying to break patterns that hurt other people or hurt themselves and have healthier patterns, but because they didn't communicate, they kind of hurt each other. I really loved how it ended. The ending was super cute. I loved it. Happy ending, of course, but I really enjoyed how we got there. The third act was really sweet. And I was like, yeah, that's very healthy. That's probably the healthiest way you could do that, right? And the whole time the town thinks that like bodies are buried in her property, and they're all like trying to figure it out. And they're like, oh, Bennett, she doesn't hate you. Try to find the dead bodies. And he's like, there is not a dead body. But at the same time, he is looking for it because he doesn't want Kira to stumble upon a dead body, you know, because Bennett is just super, super sweet. And what a really cute thing. And also like a weird thing, because sometimes when I read different books in the same week, some things are similar. Like in both books, the guy is just an absolute cinnamon roll. And in both books, love letters or love notes happen, you know? And I was like, that's so crazy. That's so weird how sometimes that like happens. So anyway, I liked it. It wasn't my favorite in the series so far. Hate the covers. Will always hate the covers. But really liked Bennett, one of my favorite guys in this series, I think, you know, and I loved both of their character growth. So 3 stars. Okay, so the second book is My Roommate is a Vampire by Jenna Levine, published 2023, and 337 pages. And yes, this book is the contemporary paranormal romance. Cassie is the human, and she's an artist. She works like 3 different kind of jobs. She is kind of going through a horrible like career just slump, you know, and she's really down on herself. And she is the best friend to Sam, who is the older brother for Amelia in the second book. Okay, and then Frederick is a very serious vampire and is the roommate and is, oddly enough, the cinnamon roll that I was talking about. I know, vampire cinnamon roll, what? But so far I'm really enjoying the series and how it's turning these vampire tropes on its head, and I enjoy that. But this one, I'm still waffling from 4 stars to 3 stars. I think I'm just gonna have to cut it in the middle, put 3.5. I think if I read this book first, this would definitely have been a 4 stars. But because I read my Vampire Plus One first, because, you know, I never read books in order even when I try. Because the Vampire Plus One was so funny, right? So I think I fell into the hole of looking for the humor in this one, and that specific kind of humor, what they do in the shadows type humor. But this didn't really have that. There are some things that were a little funny, but it really didn't have the same vibe as, again, what they do in the shadows. But Frederick is really, he's so sweet. I know he's a vampire, but he's so sweet. So, and this is definitely opposites attract, which I enjoy. Okay, so and Reggie's in it. Reggie's the vampire for the second book, who I love so much, and really gives a lot of context to their friendship, even though they kind of pretend they're frenemies. They're definitely best friends. But okay, so Cassie finds this someone looking for a roommate, and they're in Chicago, in a really nice part of Chicago, for $200. And since she's getting evicted, she could really use that. And she's like, well, $200, that's crazy. So she's like, yeah, I want the apartment. And Frederick's like, great. He doesn't tell her that he's a vampire. Fine. She moves in, and like, she knows all weird things about him, and he's like, you can't go into this closet. And the thing about the closet that did make me laugh, but it happened way late in the book, and it would have been, I think, a little funnier a little earlier, you know, maybe after she finds out that he's a vampire, a little sooner. Like, it would have been I think it would have hit a little more. But that's kind of the funniest thing in this book, and considering the second book is just, there's so many little jokes that I liked, you know, but I didn't hate it. I enjoyed it, and I really like the cover. This artist, I think it's I'll put their name down. I think they did both covers. I really like the style of these covers, and weirdly enough, to focus on the book feel, I really enjoyed it. It's like a little bumpy but not abrasive. I know, I don't know why I'm talking about textures of the book, but I enjoyed the texture. Okay, so this is what happened. About 100 years ago, when Reggie's practical jokes, he handed Frederick blood, but it wasn't actually blood, and Frederick ended up in a coma for 100 years. And in this coma, Reggie made sure he was fed, and his bills were paid, and his clothes was taken care of, probably because he felt guilty, and probably because Frederick's one of 2 only friends he has, because Reggie is just Reggie. So when he wakes up, when Frederick wakes up, he feels completely lost. You know, he's completely lost. Because 100 years, a lot has changed, right? So him and Reggie come up with the great idea of him getting a human roommate so he could, like, observe them and what's normal for now. Fine. They, because his schedule's nocturnal because he's still weakened, and she, you know, has a daylight schedule, I guess. She works all through the day, sleeps at night. He works during the night and sleeps during the day. So they leave little notes to each other, and she doodles, and he's really, what I liked, even though he doesn't understand her art, he thinks that she's so talented, which is so cute and sweet. Like, he really is so sweet, and there's moments where he seems so shy and anxious. You just want to give him a hug. So, like, he's really great. And Cassie, she has a lot of self-doubt, a lot of self-esteem issues, especially stemming from her art, because her art is like a mixture of, I forget what, street reclaim, I forget. It's art where there's, it's a mixed medium art, and she paints oil landscapes or oil subjects in oil paint. And then she puts like trash she finds in it to kind of symbolize, you know, pollution and corporations destroying beautiful things. Like, I get it, right? But it's not an art that is easily digestible by the masses, so she usually doesn't get showings or things like that. And she really she's never tried to be an art teacher before because she just didn't think anyone would hire her because her art is so unique. But being around Frederick that's like, no, you're really talented. Even though I don't understand your art, I could tell how much you love it and you're really trying to bring a message forward. Like, that's wonderful. And because she just has someone that's like in her corner, and yeah, her best friend Sam and his husband Scott have been in her corner, but I guess she feels like since she knows them forever, they're just saying that just to say that. And since Frederick's like a stranger roommate, he doesn't have the same emotional, like, oh, I have to make, this is my friendship and I have to say her stuff is good. So I guess she believes it more, which I can understand. I can understand that, right? I think we all can understand that. So she puts herself out there more, and I really enjoy that. And then the whole of the book, there's these letters exchanged between Frederick and his mom. Yes, his mom. And they have a whole subplot going on that's interesting. And the third act conflict is also interesting. And I freaking love that once again, I love that the author does this. The human girl solves it. And I loved the way she solves it by blackmail. And I was like, yes, so good, perfect, stunning. That's brilliant. I love how you did that. Her and Reggie team up to blackmail someone to save Frederick. And it is stunning. I love that ending. I loved how that conflict was resolved. I loved that was basically Cassie who did it. There was one point where I thought her self-esteem issues would prevent her from stepping forward and helping Frederick without an outside influence. But that was not the case. I was really happy to see that. Actually, both books, there's a lot of growth between the MC's character growth, which was enjoyable to read. Again, 3.5, just because it wasn't as humorous as the second one. But I really enjoyed Frederick and Cassie. I liked the opposites attract. I liked the very slow burn, but like they're both attracted to each other, but not, because Frederick's like, she's human, I'm not gonna do anything. And also Frederick is from 100 years ago, so like courtship is very different. And Cassie's like, oh no, sleeping with my roommate, that's a bad idea, which, yes. Yes, it is. So I loved seeing them fall in love through these little notes that they left each other on the kitchen counter table. I thought that was so cute. I really did. So cute, so cute. So that was this week. Nothing that like wowed me, but nothing that was horrible. So it was a very nice, easygoing week. Both books were enjoyable, especially for me with contemporary and paranormal. I'm very picky, so I'm happy that I like these well enough. And if you like small town contemporary, or if you like contemporary paranormal that's a little more on the fun side than on the you're my mate side, then check them out because they're very enjoyable, a lot of fun. So that's it for me. It's time for me to get back to the real world. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye.